Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another movie review. I am reviewing today Promising Young Woman. Now, I'm recording this on the 14th, and as I wait for WandaVision to be released, I actually found a screener for Promising Young Woman. It's supposed to be released today, as of when this video will be released on the 15th on VOD. So hopefully, all you guys will be able to see it now because it had a very limited run, or not a limited run, but a really hard run because it was in a lot of drive-ins and very limited theatrical run because of the pandemic, obviously. So it was hard for me to find the film. But it's finally being released on VOD, and I'm finally getting a chance to see it. And I definitely wanted to review this movie because there is plenty to love here, and there are some small issues, but plenty to love here. Um, to explain what the movie is about, Promising Young Woman is about a character named Cassandra Thomas, played by Carey Mulligan, and uh, she has this little thing that she does every day, where she goes to a club. She portrays herself to look a little drunk, and she goes home with a particular man, and then she reveals herself to not be drunk. And needless to say, she gives these men a lecture of some kind, haunting them basically for the rest of their lives for what next woman that they get to. And she does this traditionally a lot of the time, and then her past comes back, and then that sets her off to go on a quest for revenge. And if that sounds familiar to you, um, it sounds like every revenge movie that you've ever heard of. I mean, the only added twist is that she is already doing the revenge thing. It's just that now she's going even further into her revenge, now knowing that her past has come back in a big way. Um, but The one thing that is excellent here, I mean, it's no doubt about it, is Carey Mulligan. Carey Mulligan is just brilliant in the film. This is a showcase all the way through, and it's just easily the best component of the film is Carey Mulligan because she's not trying to riff off like anything that Christian Bale did, like with Patrick Bateman, because the film very much borrows, or is at least influenced very much so by American Psycho, um, in that it feels like that way. Um, but Carey Mulligan does not try to be a certain way. She's always very subtle, and the one thing that I love about her performance is the unpredictability. You can never really anticipate what she's going to do. You can't really anticipate if she's going to do this thing or if she's going to act a certain way. You really have no idea, and I love that through Carey Mulligan. I love this unpredictability and the unsubtlety of this performance because you are very much disturbed in many ways by her because you have no idea what she's going to do, and I love that about her throughout this movie. Um, and you also understand her completely through her point of view because the other thing that I loved about the film is that it gives complete understanding to both sides. When they present what her past was, she goes to each victim of said thing that happened, and at many points in the film, you understand their point of view as well. So it becomes hard from understanding right from wrong. And I love that the viewer starts to doubt themselves in how they would take that situation. And seeing how Carey Mulligan's dealing with the situation and understanding, and in some cases her being justified in doing such actions, even if they are quite extreme. Um, and I love that that was the choice of direction, which is another outstanding element of the film is the direction. All that I just said also comes through the direction, and I think the direction for this was great. I really loved all the choices that it made narratively, and I really liked the way that it just navigated its story. Because again, we've seen this type of revenge story many times. I mean, we've seen these types of stories done all the time, and it's really hard to do something fresh and unique. And I'm glad to say that with this direction, we have something style wise, very unique and very different. And I have to say, the angle it also chooses, like the type of um, what is the revenge? What is she getting revenge on? That type of element, I think, is also quite new and touches on a very, I would say, real aspect, a real thing that actually happens. And again, in that situation, I love that she pits you right in the middle. She doesn't pit you with Carey Mulligan. She puts you right in the middle and asks you, which side would you choose? And do you see how each side, or not really which side you would choose, but but you should understand both sides and where they're coming from. Um, and I love that that's what the director chose to do. Um, I also have to say that I didn't know this going into it, but it's also very funny. Apparently, it was marketed as a comedy. I didn't know this, but I thought it was a straight thriller. At least that's what the trailer portrayed to me as, being a thriller. But it's very funny yet unsettling. Like there are moments where it's very funny, and then there's moments once that humor is flipped and you are in a completely different vibe and it works. The transitions work perfectly. You don't feel like it's rough. You don't feel like it's a out of the blue sudden thing. It feels very natural. Um, and the dialogue is also pretty witty. Pretty witty. That's a funny phrase. Um, I liked a lot of the dialogue that they used. And more or less the delivery. I'm just thinking about it more. I more or less the delivery because the dialogue was good, but I liked the delivery of said dialogue. I liked how the actors interplayed with one another, particularly with Carey Mulligan and Bo Barham. I think that's his name, the director of Eighth Grade. Yeah, he stars in the film also. I really liked their chemistry. I thought they had really good chemistry with each other. Um, and there are two things though that I do take issue with. Even though I think the direction is great, I do think at times it is choppy. There is a scene between Bo and Carrie that I do think it could have been expanded a little bit more, or at least been given like 2 or 3 extra minutes just to let it sink in what's happening. Um, Bo invites Carrie at one point to his apartment, and we see how Carrie responds to it. I just felt, in terms of a scene, it just felt a little came up a little short. I would have liked an extra minute or two for that scene to build up a little bit. And certain scenes with those two as well, I felt could have been expand upon a little bit more for us to really dive into these to this chemistry a little bit more. To which, when we get to a certain reveal, again, when the reveal happens, we're still very much, shocked. But I would have liked if we built it up a little bit more. Um, but the ending is also expected, but it's still fun. It's still a fun moment, but it's expected. You expect this ending to happen. But nevertheless, though, even though, like I said, I do think the direction is a little choppy at certain points, and I do think the ending is expected. This is Carey Mulligan's movie all the way through. It's her movie, and she does not disappoint in the slightest. In a way, it's funny for me to say it. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you, but in my head, it kind of makes sense. It's what I kind of wanted Joker to be. What this movie represented it to me, or showed, is kind of what I wanted Joker to be, because Joker to me had a lot of flaws, and I'll get in. I want to do a video on Joker one day, but this movie kind of showed me what Joker could have been in certain aspects. Not saying the whole movie, like take that and put Joaquin Phoenix. I'm just saying that in terms of certain ideas that that brings, I would have liked to have seen Joker do certain things as well, because Promising Young Woman is thrilling, it's haunting, it's investing, and above all else, it's unique in both style and its angle. You will leave disturbed, you will leave stumped, and you will be frightened by the brilliant showcase that was Carey Mulligan. And that is what the best can only do, leave you with so much to think about. And boy, does Carey leave an impression.